What's happening, guys? It's your boy Regan here. It's 11:30 at night. The last people have walked out of Paradiso Academy. We had some amazing salsa classes tonight and some really cool conversations that I wanted to chat to you about very quickly. So, we always say that all styles of dancing are just like a language, salsa is a language, like swing dancing is a language, like ballet is a language, ballroom and Latin. They all are very specific in the way that they roll out the basic language of movement. So the same like when you're learning a different language, you find that there's a speech melody and a pattern. Sometimes there's a word order change that is quite different to English, right? And to think of it from another way, have you ever had a conversation with somebody, I'm guessing if you're watching this video, you'll probably speak English. Have you ever had a conversation with somebody with a very strong Asian accent, or a very strong Middle Eastern accent, or perhaps a very strong East European accent? Even if their English is pretty good, sometimes there'll be certain words and there'll be certain phrases that they will say that'll be kind of difficult for you to understand because they're not speaking with that same language awareness that you are. So what you end up doing is you end up filling in the gaps. And you end up saying, oh, did you mean that? And they say, yes, that's what I meant. Okay, cool, I understand. Please continue. Now, dancing is exactly the same. If you come from a background of ballroom and you come to learn salsa, you might understand how partner dancing works. However, your access to that information is slightly different than a salsero's. So what will end up happening is that a certain move will have a little conflict. There'll be a little tension, a little bite, a little something that is going to feel foreign to the lead or to the follow. And what happens at that moment is that the person on the receiving end of that, let's say you're dancing a salsa, the person who's salsa effective, a salsa efficient, salsa experience is going to feel that and immediately understand that your awareness of salsa as a language is slightly different. They will then modify or be forced to modify their dance according to your understanding, and that might not be something that you're going to be very happy about, because to you watch that person dancing with somebody else doing moves that you perceive yourself able to do, and they don't do the same moves with you. I had a conversation about this with a lady the other day on the social floor, and she was like, how come that lead dances with that lady with those moves? I can do those moves. Why doesn't he dance with me like that? And it was an interesting conversation. I don't need to get into that, but based on the conversation that I'm having with you right now, I want you to understand that all dancing has its own language. So when you're learning to dance swing, if you've got a background in salsa, don't go into it thinking, well, I'm going to learn swing from the perspective of a salsero and that's going to make sense. It ain't going to make any sense. The language is very different. You need to treat it that way. The same thing if you're coming from contemporary dance and you want to then get into hip hop. It's a different language. It's a different way of moving. If you're trying to modify your hip hop understanding to match your contemporary training, you're going to find them very much more difficult. So this is my advice to you. I'm not a lifetime dancer like some of you that are watching this right now. In fact, my experience is purely ballroom and Latin, as well as Afro-Latin, salsa, bachata, kizomba, and all of its derivatives. But I have a background in martial arts and a very strong background in music also. And all of these things combined have led me to this understanding. Learn any new skill as if it was the first time you learned any skill ever. You're going to learn how to dance a different style. Go into it with absolute blank canvas. No expectations. Go into the beginner's class and say to the teacher, I have experience in these other styles, but I would like to learn how this style works from the basics, from the fundamentals. And go in with that perspective. I promise you, you're going to have a way better time. You're going to learn way faster. And by the time you get all those fundamentals in, the next thing that's left is aesthetic. Aesthetic only comes from the understanding and the correct application of the basics and the fundamentals. That's my little word to you right now. You know what? Dance, experience everything, grow, and experience it like a beginner. Experience it like a newbie. You're going to have way more fun and you're going to learn much faster. That's me, I'm done. Peace out. Ciao.